Chris White, Frozenbyte, we rhymes off the bat, what I like to see. I've got a new game out. Frozenbyte are the people who are behind Trine, which is a really lovely game, and they've gone in a bit of a different direction with, and I think you pronounce it, Shadwen. So, what the hell is Shadwen? So
it's kind of like a platformer where, like, kind of like, it's not open world, but it's quite free to roam around a bit. And you are a assassin called Shadwen, and you have an encounter with a young girl called Lily who's just been caught for stealing by some guards. And your first interaction, you can either kill them or sneak her away. Now this is within the first kind of 5-10 minutes of the game, and then from there you're on a mission to kill the king, and it employs some quite clever physics, but there's quite a few issues with the game, which is a bit of a shame because it could have been so much better than it actually was.
Should we talk about the good things first and then delve into what ruins it?
Yeah, of
spoils
course.
It?
Yeah, definitely. So the kind of the clever elements to it are the time manipulation elements. So have you ever played Super Hot?
I've not, but I know very well what Super Hot is.
Yeah, cool. So I mean, I've not played that myself, but I know obviously the time freezes when you're not moving. In Shadwen, you freeze whenever you're not moving. If you get caught, you can rewind time to avoid getting caught, and then retread your steps. You can fast forward time. Well, not fast forward. It just move time along if you're stood somewhere in particular. So it's quite clever. And like when you first start playing it comes across really well. So it's good fun. But it can cause a few issues later down the line once the kind of magic's worn off of the overall impressions of the time manipulation factors.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean the way for me it kind of struggles is for example, when you forward in time along, it's normally when you're trying to avoid a guard. So there's places you can hide. You can hide in bushes, behind boxes, that kind of thing. You hold the right R1 button in, and the guards will walk past you or whatever. But it's the speed in which they do it. It's incredibly slow, so you could be waiting for quite a while for anything to happen.
So you speed it up to just get it going.
Yeah, which that can be a bit annoying. The kind of fact that you can rewind time, for me, took away a bit of the risk of getting caught and the stealth element. So there's no real way you can fail.
So it's very much like if you fail, you just get a restart.
Yeah,
or consequences.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, people might enjoy that, but I kind of, when it comes to stealth games, I mean, we've seen a lot of them like Dishonored, Metal Gear. When you get caught, you try your best to not get caught, because when you get caught, you'll get attacked or you'll die. Whereas this, if you're a bit tired of waiting and being stealthy, and you run along and you get caught, oh no mind, I'll just rewind it, go back and repeat the kind of thing again. So that was kind of one of the issues that I had a problem with the time manipulation. But it's a nice idea. It's just not done as well as it probably could have been.
Okay.
So,
how is the game like set out? Because you said like open world, but is it like missions, or do you have to just keep going through the world until you get to the king? Is the boss fights? How do you like progress? So
maybe open world's a bit strong. It's kind of.
Well, I think when you say open world, but not open world, I'm feeling like Guacamelee or something like that, where there's a world, there's like different areas of a world that you have to get through, and you have to go in a certain order because you haven't got the powers to get through others. But then you could, if you had the powers, go whichever way you wanted. That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah, well, that's something. So there's specific levels. Then they don't come up like level 1, level 2, level 3. You start off and you have to get from point A to B, going across this level. You can walk around certain areas, but it is kind of linear. To say how Uncharted might be, that kind of linear. So you've got a certain path to go to, and once you get to the end of said level, you go through a door onto the next bit. So the way you can the way you get onto the next level, you have to have you and Lily both go through the door. Right. So sometimes she'll stop in part of a level, and you have to try and get her to come with you by kind of taking guards out, that kind of thing. But her mechanic, she's quite tricky to maneuver.
So do you control her as well, or do you have to you control both characters, or do you have to does she just follow you, or you tell her what to do?
Yeah, so you only control yourself. You can press a triangle to look in a specific place and press triangle, and then she'll go there. Well, that's the kind of idea, but it doesn't always work like that. She kind of freezes sometimes. She doesn't always follow your orders. It can be very frustrating if you've spent quite a bit of time trying to take out these guards, and then you get to the end of the level, and she's like halfway back, and you have to go back for her, and it just slows the game down even more than it already kind of feels.
Okay. But you do like it though, even though it's a bit on the slow side.
Yeah, it's good. There's too many bugs for me to fully appreciate.
What do you mean bugs in just things that bug you, or actual bugs?
Well, a bit of both, actual bugs as well as.
Why? What's wrong bug-wise?
So a couple of the bugs I encountered were with the grappling hook. The way you can maneuver certain levels, going up buildings and that kind of thing, is with the grappling hook. And so you will fire your grappling hook onto like a wooden block. You can pull yourself up, and it's quite quick. You can do it pretty fast. Other times, you just can't climb up it. It'll take you to the top, and then you need to jump, but then you can't jump because you're right underneath the kind of platform. It's very jagged and not very fluid. Other things with a grappling hook is if you could use it to kind of pull down crates next to an enemy for them to kind of go, oh, what's going on? And then you can then sneak round them, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So I was firing my grappling hook at like a bale of hay on the floor to try and pull, but it kind of in the game's mind, it thought I was swinging. So I was literally like lying on the floor, flailing around like a dead fish. So that was just ridiculous, and then I got caught. And then like I've pulled off like a little crate off 2 foot off the ground, pull it slightly, and it takes 2 guards down and kills them. It's like it's some
of
those.
Is there consequences for killing guards? Do you not want to kill them? Or?
So the kind of clever idea behind it is that you can go through the game without killing anybody. You can sneak around the guards, that kind of thing. And if you sneak around the guards, Lily, the little girl's more favourable to you. She will like you more. Whereas if you go around stabbing every guard in the back, it's noticeable that she's not comfortable with that and she doesn't like it. And so your relationship differs depending on how you decide to take the guards down. So it's quite a nice little dynamic to it.
If people want to know more about it, they can check out your review. It's not written yet, I don't believe. It's not on the site at least. What score are you going to give it?
It's not on the site yet. I have written it and submitted it, so it should probably be next couple of days, I would have thought.
What score?
I gave it a 4.
Ooh, wow, harsh words from the review master, Chris White. Well, obviously, Chris liked it in concept, but in execution just wasn't up to scratch.
Yeah, I was just a bit disappointed. They're a good dev team. I just think if they just spent a little bit more time just fixing these issues, it would have been getting like a 7.5. It's definitely worth trying out. I think it does well with what's there, but it just could have been a bit more time spent with it, and it would have been a better game.
Well, if you want to learn more about Shadwen, you want to learn more about any game that GodisaGeek are covering at the minute, you can go over to GodisaGeek.com. Everything's on there. You can also, if you want to loan us to cover even more games, go to patreon.com/GodisaGeek, throw us a couple of quid, and it helps us do even more. You can follow me on Twitter at Mabroski, follow Chris on Twitter at FirstAvenger83, and I guess we'll see you next time. See ya!
Should have backed the GodisaGeek Patreon.